Hello and welcome to a very quick tutorial here on the completion of your Google spreadsheet that we started last week. So last week we were in your classroom and we had started to build our spreadsheet based on our addition and subtraction facts. And we got to, every class got a little bit different here. So I'm going to kind of back up. So some of you may have already done the next thing I'm going to show you, while others, haven't yet. So if you have, that's fine. Just hang in there with me and I'll get to the new stuff here in just a minute. On your data sheet, you have a fake data sheet there sitting next to you. It has a whole bunch of dates and it has a bunch of scores. We're going to be putting those in this spreadsheet now since we've got our two headers done here. We've learned how to merge our cells and change the size of our font. We got all that taken care of. So what we're going to do is we're going to go in. Remember, we have columns that are labeled with letters and we have rows that are labeled with numbers. We're going to go in cell A3 right here and we are going to type the word date, just like that. We're going to go right underneath of it, and I can go right underneath of it. If I hit the enter key, it'll drop me down to the next tab, or the next cell, sorry. And underneath of that, I'm going to put score. So in row 3, I'm going to have all of the dates all the way across, and then in row 4, I'm going to have all of the scores all the way across here, okay? Now, if you remember looking at the fact sheet that I have there, your score sheet there with the fake data on it, all of the dates are written in the same way. And so we're going to do that with a really cool trick up here by going up to our format. So to do this, you're going to click on the number 3. When you click on the number 3, it's going to highlight the entire row. And like I said, some of us, we've already done this part here. Some of the classes did not. So this is going to highlight the entire row. Then I'm going to come up to the format menu, and I'm going to go to number. And then another drop down comes over here, and then I'm going to find date right down here. So see how the date is written right here? This is the format I want my date to be written. So I'm going to click on dates just like that. It doesn't look like anything happened, but actually something did happen. So the very first date on my list is 2/28/2017. Now it's kind of a pain to have to type all of that stuff out, find the slash, all of that. So instead, what we just done there, since we changed the format, is I can actually just go 3 and I can go into the next box and it will change it. You see how I just did that? It changed it to that format that I wanted there. So I'll do it again, 3 7. I have a 3, a space, and a 7. That's it. And I can click in the next box and it changes it automatically for me, which is kind of nice. That's kind of a really cool, handy thing there. Another little quick hint for you is after you type in a box, if you hit the tab key, it will just jump over to the next cell. So tab moves over, enter moves down, okay? And so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to pair up these scores. So best thing to do is write a date, write the score underneath of it, write a date, write the score underneath of it, write a date, write the score underneath of it, just like that. And you're going to fill that up so it goes basically all the way across like so. Okay, and so you're going to keep on doing that. So you can go ahead, pause the video here, and start entering in all of those dates. And actually, I think there's 25 of them, so quite a few. So go ahead and do that. After you get that done, making sure that everything is, like how it's supposed to be done, you can come back to this video and we will do the very next part. Okay, so pause the video, go do that. We'll come back when it's all completely finished. All right, so I have auto magically filled in mine. So I have all of my dates and all of my scores done. And if you did all of them, you're going to go all the way over here to column Y. So that's pretty far, a lot of things over there. So that's kind of cool. Now, what we're going to do next is we're going to make this line graph. So we have all of our data in here. We have a date and we have a score underneath of it. What we're going to do is select the data that we want. So we want these 2 rows. Okay, so I'm going to grab row 3. I'm going to click and hold, and then I'm going to drag down to row 4. And so what it does is actually highlighted both of those rows. Okay, so I didn't do a click once and then let go. I did a click and hold and drag down to the next line to highlight both of these rows, because this is what we want these rows right here are what we want our graph to be in. Okay. After I do that, I'm going to come up here to the word insert. Insert means to add something in. I'm going to insert a chart. Okay. And this is going to do this very quickly for us. It sees what we have here for our data. And so what it's doing here is it's actually going to give us some recommendations of charts for it. So this is probably the charts that you're going to use for this data. You could use just a standard line graph. You could use a little bar graph if you wanted to. And then you could also use this where they have it filled in underneath. Okay, so those are your kind of choices. We're just going to stick with just a plain old line graph that's just right there for us. When you click on it, all you're going to do is go ahead and say insert. And look at that, we have our graph already right there ready to roll. And this graph can actually be slid around. We can move this graph to anywhere we want to. So I'm going to put it right underneath of my scores and my dates right there. And that right there shows how our scores have gone, which is pretty cool, right? So we can see it's very up and down, very up and down. Now what's really awesome about this, since this graph, we told this graph to pull information from rows 3 and 4. When I go here to the very, very end, and you don't have to do this, I just want to show this to you. Our last data point was for 5/19. I'm going to enter another one in. I'm going to say we did another test on the 24th of May, and we scored fantastic. We scored a 55. You're going to notice that when I added this, I don't have to redo my graph. Look at this. It just put that point right in there for me. And so what it'll do is since you've highlighted these two rows, anytime you add data to this, it will just continue to add your line to your line graph. So if you were keeping up with this, you could enter your first couple scores, create that line graph, and then just keep entering scores as you go, and your graph down here would always be up to date, which is kind of a cool thing. So with that, we're finished with this assignment. That was all there was to it. So it's pretty simple stuff. So pretty cool things that Google Spreadsheets can do. It really saved us a lot of time writing the dates. It saved us a ton of time making this graph. Look at that. That graph is fantastic. And we can actually spread this graph out if we wanted to a little bit, make it look a little bit nicer, make it a little bit longer so you can actually kind of see, so it's maybe not so jagged, which is kind of cool. So a lot of neat stuff that you can do with this Google Spreadsheets. So there you go. If you have any questions about anything, you can always go back and watch this video again. Otherwise, ask present Mr. Meyer, who is walking around the room there to help you out. So good luck.
Step 13, enjoy popular music.
Tap the charts again, Everything is Awesome.
Oh my gosh, I love this song.
Everything is awesome.